Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a nice day of virtual learning yesterday. Please take a moment now and write down today's goal in your writer's notebook. Now you can see it right here. Today's goal: to see that essay writers start with a clear sense of structure. So take a moment and write that down. Okay, so now I'm going to continue. If you're still writing the goal down, just pause the video and finish writing. Okay, to start today, I want you to think about a story you all know. And the story's called The Three Little Pigs. Okay, The Three Little Pigs. Okay, you know this story. When you read Miss B's essay yesterday, you thought about this story a little bit when she compared it to Wonder. Okay, I want you to take a moment now. Remember the story. Think about the first little pig, the second, the third little pig, what problem they were dealing with, how they dealt with the problem. Just take a moment right now and think about that. Okay, now that you've thought about the story, okay, let's remember that the three pigs, they each built themselves a home, one out of straw, one out of sticks, and the third pig out of bricks. Okay, and then a wolf came and he called to them and he said, little pig, let me in." Right? And one after another, the pigs answered, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." Okay. So imagine calling out when you're that last pig, and you've watched your brothers get eaten. Okay, that third pig, he's pretty strong, right? Do you remember what he does at the end? Just take a moment, think about how the story ends. And I will give you a little hint here. Okay, see that? That's how the story ends. The third little pig, he outwits the wolf, and the wolf comes down the chimney right into a boiling pot of water. Okay? So, I'm going to think about a thesis statement. I'm going to write about Three Little Pigs, and before I start writing, I'm going to think about really what it is I want to say, and also I want to have a structure for the essay that I'm about to write. Okay? So the thesis statement that I've come up with is here. Okay, and it says, the third little pig is an admirable character. So the third little pig, okay, so the third little pig is who I'm going to write about, and what I'm going to prove to my readers is that he is an admirable character. He's somebody that we should admire, somebody that we should aspire to be like. So I've got to think to myself, what are the reasons that we might admire the third little pig? And you can think about this for a moment now. Okay, but what I've come up with is that he is, I think he's a hard worker. Okay? I think he's a hard worker. I think he's smart. Okay? And in your notebooks now, I want you to do the same work. Write down why you think the third little pig is an admirable character. So if you need to, pause the video, write down some things. I wrote hard worker, smart. Pause the video now and write down some of your own ideas. Okay, so I'm going to share what I came up with, all right? And this is going to be my thesis statement. Okay, so this is the sentence in the introduction that tells my readers what I'm going to talk about, so the topic, and then how I feel about that character. So I'm going to write it right here. Okay, so the third little pig is an admirable character because, you can see it here, because he works hard, he is brave, and because he outwits his enemy. Okay, so the third little pig is an admirable character because he works hard, he is brave, and because he outwits his enemy. So in my head, what I'm thinking already is that I'm going to have a supporting paragraph here to show that he's a hard worker. I'm going to have a supporting paragraph here to prove that he's brave. And finally, another supporting paragraph to prove to my reader that he's smart, that he outwits his enemy. Okay, and when I say outwit, I mean that he's smarter than the wolf. And I'm going to show that in that paragraph. So before I start writing any of the essay, I've got this idea, and I express that idea in my thesis statement. Now, if you look in today's assignment, you'll see there's a chart about claims, okay? And you can look at that for some different ways to write your claim or your thesis statement. If you look here in this chart, and I'll highlight it for you here. If you look here, okay, you see this claim? This is a model you can follow. Okay, the third little pig is admirable because he works hard, he's brave, and above all, because he outwits his enemy. Okay, so if you look at the attachment, you'll see there are a few other ways to do this. I like this way because just by reading that thesis statement, by reading the claim, my reader knows what I'm going to say, what my idea is, and how I'm going to support it. So they don't have to guess about how I'm going to prove that the third little pig is admirable. They know just from reading my claim right at the beginning. Okay? So what you're thinking about now is ways that the third little pig is admirable. Now you can use the ways that I've outlined here, or you can come up with another one if you like. So now I'm going to talk through what my first paragraph might look like. Okay, and if you look at the chart here and we focus just on body paragraph 1, you'll see it says the first reason why the third little pig is hardworking is because. Okay, so in this paragraph, my goal is to show that my character, the third little pig, is hardworking. Okay, so I've done that down here, and I'm going to highlight how this paragraph is structured. Okay, so if we move down here and we look, okay, the first sentence tells my reader exactly what my idea is about why he's admirable. Okay, the first reason that the third little pig is admirable is that he works hard. Okay, that comes first. It's called the topic sentence. Your paragraph should look just like this and begin with the topic sentence. So now the question is, how do I know he works hard? Okay. And what I do now is unpack my evidence. So I'm going to write about details in the story that show me that he works hard. Okay, so first I say he builds his home, he builds his own home, and that takes a lot of effort. Okay. Now this is true that he builds his own home, it takes a lot of effort, but his brothers also built their own homes too. So I'm going to give more detail. He builds his home out of bricks, and the bricks are heavier than the straw and the wood. Okay? So by saying this, I'm adding more weight to my claim that he works hard, right? Because he chose to make his house out of bricks. It's the heaviest building material in the story. And this is the third little pig that carried him. Next, I'm providing more detail. Okay? He carried all those bricks to one place, laid them down, one by one on top of each other, and added in the cement. So this should jump out at you because in our units on character, we talked about how authors give us some insight into who the characters are. And one of the ways was step-by-step actions. So here, that's what I'm doing. I want my reader to see the work the third little pig has done. So he's carrying these bricks, and he's laying them down one by one. Okay, so I'm trying to show the reader that the third little pig is working hard. Okay? I add that he's built a roof and a chimney, because these are important parts in the story. Right? The pig comes down the chimney. He climbs up to the roof and goes down the chimney right before he gets boiled. Okay, so I'm going to mention that here because it's related to how the story ends. Okay, in this last sentence, when I conclude the paragraph, okay, I'm analyzing the evidence I provided, and I'm telling the reader that it shows he works hard, and I admire him for that. So in earlier units, I may have said to you that when we provide evidence, it's our job as the writer to analyze it, to unpack it, to explain it to the reader, so our ideas don't get lost. Okay, so if we want to guarantee that our reader understands what we're saying, we got to do some of the thinking for them. And that's what happens here in this concluding paragraph. All right? So your job today is to write a flash draft. Okay? You can choose to use my thesis statement. You can use one of your own, but you're going to be writing about the third little pig. Okay? So why is the third little pig an admirable character? Okay, that is your question. That's the essay you're going to write. If you want, you can use my introduction here. You could use my support. Okay, I'd like you to follow the structure of this body paragraph, but please don't copy it word for word. Okay. Now you're going to do this in the document that's created and attached to this assignment, and I will be, I'll be in Hangouts when the class starts to make sure that all of you open up the right Google Doc. Okay, and as you write today, I'm going to be watching you, giving you some feedback to help you get through this. Okay, now the goal is that you're done. You have this done by the end of the period today. So for Orange Group, I think I have you first. You will be writing, watching the video and writing from 11 to 12:20. And then the next class, you are, in the afternoon, you were 2:35 to 3:35. Okay, so what I don't want to happen is that you spend the night writing this essay. This is not homework. This is not something you're going to do anytime outside of our scheduled class time. Okay, it's a flash draft. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's not a formative. It's not a summative. It's classwork. It's the same thing you'd be doing if you were here. Okay? Now, as always, all day long, I'm available to help you and support you in any way I can. I will be sending messages to different pairs, different groups as the class starts. But good luck with your writing today. I'm looking forward to see why you think the third little pig is admirable. Okay, so have a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow.